Hey, everybody. Welcome to the BIPOC Happy Hour. This is Friday, September 9/11.
Hi.
Thank y'all for being here with us today. This is the BIPOC Happy Hour, BIPOC, Black Indigenous People of Color. And this is our wind down. This is a Friday. And to the pride, everybody on the panel, how y'all doing today?
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we're going to try to get this wind down going. I think DeAndre wants to come in and offer us something for today. Hello, brother DeAndre.
Well, first and foremost, peace and blessings, everybody out there who are watching, who are listening to us. Before I continue on with what I want to continue, I want to wish one of our BIPOC board members a happy birthday today.
Hi.
Kevin Moore, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Make sure we acknowledge that today.
Well, thank you very much, Sugar Sweetness Dumplings. Sugar Sweet. I appreciate it. It feels good to be 28.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're 28.
Yes,
Yes, Lord.
Right. Okay.
Yes, today. Stop hating.
Right.
Well, he said he's 28, so we're going to just say, do we know?
I'm not disputing anybody today. It's Friday.
28.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
And still looking good.
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't want to make today a bittersweet moment. We had our sweetness with wishing our Kevin happy birthday, but now we have our bitter because today is September 11th. 19 years after the actual 9/11 attacks in New York. So with that being said, I had just wanted to start with a moment of silence for those we have lost, those that we haven't found. 19 years, but I still feel like we should continue to discuss this. Somebody had said to me that they don't feel comfortable discussing 9/11 every year, but there are many historic events in our history that we discuss over and over and over that I don't feel comfortable discussing, but it's a part of it. So with all that being said, 19 years later, I just want to give a moment of silence for those we've lost in 9/11. And thank you for their moment of silence, that respectful silence. So with that segues into our icebreaker for today. And this is a question for everybody that's on the panel right now. So icebreaker for today is, where were you on September 11, 2001? What were you doing? Where were you when you found the news out? How did it affect you 19 years ago? Anyone can start.
Well, I was in Washington, D.C. So, I was there when the Pentagon was hit. So, I was literally that morning. My brothers, we just dropped off my brothers to school. I have 8 brothers, that I told you before. But we had just dropped them off. We went home to do our thing. Next thing we know, we heard something about the plane hit New York. And then all of a sudden we felt the ground shake. I mean, literally shake. We never experienced an earthquake in DC, never in our lives. So the first thing, our first instinct to get our children. So we ran and got our brothers and sisters or whatever and came home. But it literally scared me. I didn't have no one per se there that I know that passed or was hurt. But, just being in the midst of something like that, because honestly, we grew up living in Washington, D.C., being taught to us that nothing can hit us. We live in Washington, D.C. We're in the safest place in America. Nothing can hit us. Nothing. Then all of a sudden, a plane hit there. So,
hit the Pentagon.
It scared the holy shenanigans out of a lot of us. You know what I mean? Because we was raised that shit ain't going to happen. You be shot down, you be whatever before you even touch ground. So, that scared a lot of us. They let us, they open our eyes to realize different things that we learned from our teachers and whatever wasn't true. So like earthquakes, we got an earthquake at the same time too. So
Glad you're okay.
yeah, I am. Yes. We was all blessed.
I go
Is there,
at that time. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kevin.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say at that time I was in Dallas, Texas, on my way to work, listening to the morning show. They had said the first one hit the first tower, and I was driving when it hit the second tower.
Wow.
And then I decided it was time to move from Dallas because they're gonna blow up DFW airport, which they never did.
True. Well, my 9/11 experience is a long story, so I'm not going to bore you with all the details. However, I was in New York City on that day. I was up in New York City for the Michael Jackson tribute concert, his last joint at Madison Square Garden, the one with Whitney and Usher and all the motherfuckers. And I stayed up after midnight, because I went to the Monday concert. And so after midnight, I stayed up, got a cocktail with my friend, and then I had to be back at work at the time for a meeting I had nothing to do with back in Cleveland. And so I was supposed to be flying out at like 6:30 in the morning. Needless to say, I had a couple cocktails and I overslept, missed my cab, and so I was on standby for the 8:30 flight. So the 8:30 flight actually left a little early, and we were on the runway taxiing, you know what I'm saying, at the time that the first plane hit. And the thing was, like, I kept dozing off because I was, hungover and shit. And it was like every time I woke up, though, it seemed like we had been there forever. And then, everybody's cell phone started going off. And my cell phone, since I'm, kind of poor at the time, I had like the Metro PCS shit that you can only use in your city. So I wasn't getting no calls, but we went into the, they had us get off the plane. We went back into the terminal, and the bomb squad come running through there talking about there's a bomb in here. You got to get out. Not you got a bomb threat. There's a bomb. And so that just started this whole day of fuckery. And basically all the hotels were booked up. I couldn't, get a hotel. My homegirl had to like pay motherfuckers to like let her out closer and closer to LaGuardia just so she could get to me. And then we ended up having to walk all the way back to Manhattan because everything was shut down. And I will say that was the first time I ever saw or heard New York City be completely quiet. You know what I'm saying? Other than horns and sirens. You know what I'm saying? No one was talking. Motherfuckers, I was throwing up. Motherfuckers was, having panic attacks. It was horrible. So ultimately, what ended up happening, that whole experience it convinced me to get an HIV prevention because I wanted to make sure that I did something with my life that helped other people live. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to work a job that was fulfilling, nothing like this where I was, trying to get back to a fucking meeting I had fuck all to do with just because I had a racist, supervisor. So yeah, that whole experience, and that's the short version of it, but it really kind of put me on the path that leads me here. So
Yeah.
Glad you're okay.
After that, New York has never been the same.
it hasn't.
I used to party in New York.
And now with the COVID,
Well, and this remind me, of somewhat of what's going on now, of what happened in New York, in 9/11. You know what I mean? Because it started in New York. That's when we found out everything. Everything happened in New York. So it's just so sad that the New Yorkers always get it bad. You know what I mean?
Well, but you know what? They also are like one of the most resilient town. That's one of the most resilient cities you'll ever fucking come to know in your life. You know what I mean? Like that's the one thing I peeped about them that I've always respected, and definitely it's been that way after 9/11. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
they come together quick.
They do. They really do. Y'all might not like each other next week, but you know what I'm saying? For the matter at hand, you know what I'm saying? They do. They come through. Much like our community did after this George Floyd thing. You know what I'm saying?
So my experience until me. I was actually a junior in high school, and it took place on a Tuesday. I remember. And I walked into my American history class, and that was the first thing that was on the TV. Like when we were all walking in one by one before class, that was on the TV, and they kept replaying the video over and over and over again. So that's how I found out about it. But then when I had saw that on the TV, in the back of my mind, I asked myself, how were they able to capture this footage? This, like, they were prepared to have this footage filmed. Like, you understand my question? Like, how did they know that this was gonna happen today? Like, these cameras, unless they had cameras already surveying the Twin Towers already, and they were already in place and caught that.
Yeah, I think there were cameras that were in existence already that they used.
They caught that footage.
Yeah,
that's what I had asked myself when I saw that. I'm like, how did they already know this? But why it's even more significant for me this year, 19 years later, I had just had a conversation with my grandmother last month. And I don't even know how we got on the topic of New York and the Twin Towers, but she literally was in the Twin Towers days before that plane had crashed. The planes had crashed into both of them. She was on the left tower, and she went all the way to the top because she was in New York visiting her godmother, my godmother, and she got back home on the 9th. And 2 days later is when those planes had crashed into those buildings. So if it wasn't for God's grace, Jesus, like that brought her back home days before the Twin Towers were even blown up, you know? So, you know, with me just discovering that 19 years later is why it resonates with me even more now, because I know this information. And I just felt like it was appropriate to discuss that tonight.
Yeah, it's a good day for it. Anybody else have a good story? Or a story, not a good story.
Yeah, mine wasn't that interesting. I was at the dentist's office on Broadway visiting Dr. Williams. And the receptionist lady came running in there as he was in my mouth. We all got up and went and was looking at the TV in the break room. It was crazy.
Wow.
Hey, can I just say something real quick? I know that every every year we get all these stories from Americans about the very American way we've processed this very American tragedy. However, what people seem to forget is that there were people from all walks of life, people from all different countries. It was the World Trade Center. You understand what I'm saying? So there's like stories beyond stories that people don't get to share about, 9/11 or the effects of 9/11. Like, we lost like 3,000 people or something, in the towers, but over in Iraq, they lost like hundreds of thousands of people as a result of that, that event. And, and around this country, hundreds of thousands of Muslim Americans were, harassed or beat up or, assaulted in the coming months, years, and weeks after that event. So I just want, people to just kind of like not forget the fact that their stories are just as important too, in relation to 9/11, and especially those Americans who happen to be of a Middle Eastern nationality, anything like that, or if they're a Muslim practicing that religion, including their stories and the very real way that it impacted their shit and still impacts their shit today.
Anybody else?
It's probably everybody.
Yeah, so. All right, so dead air ain't right. So what's going on? What we're talking about? We can't just be sitting here looking at each other now.
I thought the conversation Tonight was political.
Oh, tonight we talk politically. So, so basically we talk about Trump. So basically this is what we're talking about.
Can we give her a break for a day?
I mean, you can't see her every day, so I mean.
Yeah, I suppose.
Could she give me a break?
Okay.
I mean, could she leave for a second?
I want her to break me off. Hey, my stimulus check.
I don't want that because she gonna ask for it back. That's an Indian giver.
It ain't coming anytime soon.
It ain't right.
I actually have read. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I used the wrong phrase, but she's asking for that back.
Right.
But no, I actually read an article. I actually read an article saying that we weren't going to get a second stimulus because Republicans were still talking about it, and they had quote unquote skimmed down the second stimulus plan, so where it won't be issued.
It ain't gonna include the check.
Right.
Gotcha.
But you know,
I remember reading about that too.
I actually read that today.
The work taxes, they dropped it, and we got to pay it back next year.
Something like that.
All that's all ugly. This has not happened under any other presidency.
Well, the motherfuckers
Why would we want 4 more years of this crap?
Right.
You know. Doesn't that bring us why we're here tonight about voting? That's just the whole reason that we need to do this.
But you know, we need to be some Republicans up here too. You know, one day, and let them speak a Trump supporter, and let them speak their mind on how they feel about it. Because right now, we all on the same path. All of us on this live right here, because we feel that the impacts out a little bit more. I would love to see the view of someone else. You know, what they feel about it. I mean, I know what they feel about it. Well, no, I don't, because no one does. I don't have any Republican friends,
right?
Or anyone that voted for Trump.
I have no Trump supporter friends. I may have Republican friends, but not Trump supporters.
I don't have Republican friends.
But how do you have Republican friends but not Trump supporters?
Because a lot of Republicans don't support Trump,
and a lot of Republicans didn't vote for Trump.
Yep.
And a lot of them won't tell you that they did anything for Trump.
Interesting.
Right. Because they're embarrassed, and I would be too. You know what I mean? A lot of folks that voted for him at this moment, you know, some of them feel real bad. They voted for a cartoon character. You know what I mean? So, you know.
We had a marijuana candidate. I forgot which of the parties he was from, either from Grassroots or Legal Marijuana Now, and he was a Trump supporter. He voted for Trump in 2016. He's running for Congress here in Minnesota. But what's interesting, when
What's
he
his
came,
name?
Adam Weeks, I think it is. What was interesting is when he came on the show, he talked about how his perspective and views had changed on the system, on the treatment of Black people. He said George Floyd was the final straw, but that the murders of Black men were getting him to like see things differently. And so, you know, he's not, you know, he didn't support Trump this time around. So. I don't know, it'd be interesting to hear those stories. I really don't want to listen to anybody that's voting for him. I think we'd be arguing with them. And
right.
It would be a frustrating.
It would be, I think I lose my voice, but you know, it would be something to hear about. I don't know anyone personally. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I can find a Trump supporter that can not be delusional, you know what I'm saying? Like, then, you know, one that probably could give us some facts or something like that, you know what I mean? Or like kind of, you know, I don't know, just have a sensible debate or, you know, argument about it. That's all.
That's the hard, that's kind of like the hard thing, because most of them, once you start debating them, they start screaming and yelling and
just turning into kids. They do just like they're him.
The thing is, though, is we have to separate our issues from these parties. Yesterday, I had an opportunity to watch the National Cannabis Policy Summit. They had a conservative panel on it, and you had these, you know, Republicans up on this panel talking about the need for criminal justice reform in relation to legalizing not just marijuana, but other drugs as well. If you remove the criminality from these things,
Oh yeah,
one
I
of the
remember that.
that the guy made was like, that means that there'll probably be less interactions between community and the police, because they can't use weed or any other drug as a reason to like stop and harass you.
Right.
And so, you know what I'm saying? It's, yeah, Trump is a Republican, and, you know, I'm always, people will hear me talk about Democrats and things like that, but I always feel that it's important that we detach those parties from our issues. We go with the party that gets us closer to what it is we want to see.
Correct.
Yeah, like Bobby is saying, you know, like I don't want to close the door to them. But like a Trump supporter, like I can't see a civil conversation with someone that's supporting.
I mean, I
But
understand.
I haven't.
Republicans, like we can invite other
Yeah,
Republicans
that's what I mean.
Yes.
and
Yes.
talk about, you know, our issues. But yeah, I just know, I'm just saying, like somebody that's supporting Trump, because there are different types of Republicans, as Kevin mentioned.
Right.
You know,
I
maybe
don't
one
think
that
that-
would
I think
be
he
able to make a valid point.
as a Republican. I think he shouldn't even ran as a Republican. I think he should have just started on a whole new branch, and like they do colors. They make a new color, make a new branch just for him. You know, because they put a bad light on the Republicans, and all of them are not bad. You know what I mean?
Well, now that Trump has come in, he has changed the whole party. And now, what do you call it? Because pretty much it's the Trump party.
I call it the pussy party because them niggas don't act like they don't want to step up and say shit to
You
that.
had to say that word.
Don't want to do anything.
Y'all did say pussy on the ballot, so
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, we back to that word.
Because they will
You had
the
to
kids
say
around.
that. It takes the Virgo to come out.
he has base. They can't speak up.
Yeah.
But then they'll lose their local elections. That's the issue. Because he has the base.
He had him in, yeah.
All this craziness, he has the voters.
Okay, is it the base for him or is it the base for the
It should be
for the issues?
party, but a lot of people in the base are supporting him, the voters. And so, a candidate, a Republican candidate, can't necessarily, and this is a game of politics. If you want to try to win it, can't necessarily step away from that. They would have to support that, because if they went against him, then the voters wouldn't vote for them.
Right.
You saw that after he won, like before when he was campaigning, you had all these Republicans saying all kind of crazy stuff about him. He was this, he was that. As soon as he won, that shit switched. You see them talking really nice to him and lifting him up, even though he's saying
nice.
You know what I'm saying? But it's because they lose their election.
Don't vote for you. They're not gonna walk me in there and get my ballot, are they? If I was a Republican, okay. So I'd be all for you, woo, but that's not who I vote for.
do any of you think Trump has a good chance in winning in November?
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Explain your position.
My personal position is, one, he cheated for the first time, and he's already in the process of cheating for the second time.
Absolutely.
As well as he does have that strong base. There are a lot of people in America that are afraid of the browning of America.
And that's the thing that won his election the first time, and that's the thing that would possibly put him into the finish line for this one, is the fact that he is like Adolf Hitler, like, you know what I'm saying, Ayatollah Khomeini, whoever, like all these other people throughout history, they can play off of fear very well. You know what I'm saying? And they use that shit to their advantage. And that's one thing that Trump is really all about, is stoking the flames of whatever. And he likes to sit back or be in a bunker while shit's happening. You know what I'm saying? He talks that good shit while he's having them little, rallies and shit with his like-minded followers and shit. But you know what I'm saying? He's still, I'm not gonna say the P word, he's still fuzzy at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? He's still fuzzy. And the thing is, he knows how to just play off of one hit celebrity and for two, that the fucking fear factor. The fear factor is what gets them every time. And every year, or like just like in 2016, and just like this year, all of a sudden there's this big rise in police brutality or police shooting Black people incidents. You know what I'm saying? Like they start happening by the 5s, the 10s. You know what I'm saying? On election year. I don't know if anyone else peeped that, but you know, these things I think all kind of work in you know, together to help feed into the unknown around the country. You know, the people in the rural areas that don't know people of color, the people that only see what they see on television. You know what I'm saying? So the media and whatever he says is like, you know, what they go to, and they know how to. He knows how to manipulate them. He knows how to use the media, even though he you know, in public media, he's definitely working alongside them. You know what I'm
So
saying?
Kevin, are we Democrats by default?
I wouldn't say we're Democrats by default. I think if you subscribe to that belief that just because you're Black, you're supposed to, you know, vote democratically, and that's an individual thing.
We can't vote Republican unless we go with Trump. So what can we do?
But it's not necessarily they're not.
That's not. If you're Republican, you are not necessarily going with Trump.
Right, because that's what they just said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you not? I mean, if you vote, they only can vote one way. You're gonna vote Democrat. You're
No,
gonna vote Republican.
You will if you're not going for Trump.
Look, if you're a Democrat and you don't believe in the Democratic nominee, you're gonna vote for somebody probably other than the Democratic nominee if you don't like them. Plain and simple.
Some people get blank.
And as we were showing earlier,
There's a vote for Trump, isn't it? That's what I keep being heard. There's a vote for Trump if you don't vote, other than Democrat.
Oh,
but does that necessarily make you a Democrat if you vote for a Democrat? And it doesn't make you a Republican?
No, because it does not change your core values.
You might have conservative core values.
You're just voting for a person that closer reflects your values.
Right.
What if some of my ideas are Republican?
Say what?
No, your ideas are conservative. They're not a party's ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They share a lot of the same thought processes or patterns, but they're not the same. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the concept of me being a Republican and Black is unheard of.
No, I'm not saying that.
That's not what we're saying.
I'm not saying that either.
There's a lot of
Like this.
I have several Black Republican friends.
I know some Black Republicans. And I also know a lot more Black conservatives. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're Republicans. They're just conservative people who have conservative values and live their life in a conservative way. And sometimes those ideas that they have might align more so with the Republican parties in public. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes they don't. Or sometimes as a voter, you just want to see the person that's going to move this country forward and away from something like a fucked up response to a pandemic, or, you know, improvement in our actual unemployment numbers, or, you know what I'm saying, some type of like financial whatever that'll get us in a better place as a country, something that'll bring the people together, that'll not divide us. Because I think we're everything, you know, everything right now, America is everything that it said it ain't. And publicly, you know what I'm saying? People have known, Black folks have known this for years, but now the world is seeing it.
So are you saying it all has come out in the wash?
Yep.
It's all out in the wash right now.
It's done in the dark, comes to the light eventually.
Right.
So that segues into my next question. How do you all feel about Biden Harris? How you all feel about this?
Trump.
You say it's just better than Trump?
I think
that's all that matters to me at the moment. I don't think the female over Biden, but you know, that's what I gotta deal with at the moment. You understand what I'm saying? So, hey, it is what it is. I mean, it's not what it is, but that's who I'm voting for. You know what I'm saying? Put it out there. You know, but I would love it to be flipped. You know what I mean? If they could just flip them and put them back as vice president, that'd have been fine with me. You know, because I think it's about time for women to run. You know, I think it should have been Obama, Michelle actually running for president.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. But you know what?
She did run the the country for 8 years. You know what I mean? The woman is always in their man's ear, doing business or whatever.
Always.
So she had her say so of what's going on. When he said, "Should I go get Osama?" She was like, "Baby, you can get him." You know what I'm saying? Won't y'all
Get
sneak
these
in?
white niggas off your back. Yes, go get them.
So I rather had her. I wish she would have done it. I really did. Like
You know what?
Oprah, I wanted Michelle.
You know what?
A disclaimer on here. So for everybody out there watching in Facebook land, nobody on these panels are speaking on behalf of an organization. They're speaking as individuals. And so if you hear us say we're supporting someone or anyone like that, they are not speaking on behalf of Minnesota PLC Pride. So don't come at us. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Sana.
I'm speaking on my behalf.
I'm speaking on my behalf too.
We're all getting ready to vote. We're getting ready to vote in 2 months, so we're having a discussion about it. This is the discussion of the day.
And this is a discussion that we should have been having, but I'm glad that we're starting it today and we're moving forward with it, because I personally feel like there are a lot of people out there who, for the lack of better words, are dumbfounded when it comes to this upcoming election and how monumental it can be and how important it is for people to get to vote.
Right.
Like, it's really important this year,
And going back to the Kamala and Biden ticket, I think it's awesome. One, this is the first time we've actually got a person of color in the ticket, first of all, that can actually do something. We don't know how Biden's going to make this vice president position. And Kamala has already been groomed. She's already ran the largest state in the nation. Her next move up would be to run the nation. She's already ready for that. The Black female, she knows their system to be able to use that same system to move us forward. And that's something I truly am proud to see, someone that can use their system just as well as they can.
But don't you think Biden was also prepped for this position as well? Because he was vice president for 8 years.
Well, I can definitely say that. I think he learned a lot from Brock. I think, because you can't help but learn lessons from people you interact and work with. Yeah. And closely like that. And I believe it's that time. He's already taken some stances that he may be shaky from what he did many, many moons ago. But again, at the same token, he's willing to listen and move forward. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say I agree with those the last two things you said about the willing to move forward and to listen. Like I agree with that, and I do agree that there's probably a level of accountability that we can hold Biden to, that he's not going to, as a white man, you know what I'm saying, be able to just get out of or just shirk like this other dude has. However, I still do think that he is very tone deaf. I think that for him to have been there for 8 whole years with that black man and seeing him be able to face all that adversity he was facing and do it regally and do it while telling facts, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't pick up enough cues from him, because as we've seen on his campaign trail, he hasn't been that in touch with shit. And he if he don't know by this age and by this time in his political career that he can't say some of the shit that he's been saying,
he's still a white man at the end of the day.
I know, and that shouldn't be his excuse, and that shouldn't be the thing that gets him off. So that's why I'm mentioning these parts about him, because as a person who has traditionally voted Democrat or for people that weren't Republican, that it's a cause for concern for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, and I get the whole thing about we need to get him out the office, blah, 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 blah. I get that. But at the same time, though, I need to know, or I need to be confident that when this motherfucker, if he does get in the office, that he will be able to be held accountable, that, you know what I'm saying, that him having a capable black woman on his side is really going to be the thing that, kind of keeps his head, level. You know what I mean? And at the same time, too,
he's had practice at that part.
She got stuff that she got to answer for because I mean, she was a part of the problem for years. The same problem that we're fighting as far as this mass incarceration thing goes. So,
Right.
and I, you know, what I mean, so we just really have to like, I don't know, just really think about what it is we want. Think about who can get it for us, and who will be able to who will be able to have our due process with, because this other fucker and the kind of party that he's trying to create, there's obviously
He's trying to create an authoritarian party
it's
now.
like they're above the law, and I just don't want another president like that.
Authoritarian. Mm-hmm.
I think they all should be white clean. I don't think no one should be on the ticket that's over 50. Or 50.
Well, wait. I'll argue. I'll say 60.
I don't think it should be no one over 50. It's time for these old folks to get out of their seats. You got people in seats that's dying that's 102 years old. You understand what I'm saying? You need some people
There should be term limits.
We have some people that's
on the term limits.
Yeah.
Because at this moment, we're dealing with folks that's stuck in their ways. You got 90-year-old people that's running for president.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They can croak it, God forgive me, but they can die at any time. You feel me? But we don't want any of us can pass at any time. But I think we better views or who someone is up with what's going on now. I think they should be under 50 years old, maybe 45 and below. You know what I mean?
Age discrimination.
Huh?
Age discrimination.
I mean, I understand.
And if I could turn around and go back to school to graduate college at 70. I'm sorry, Sana.
Well, I said you got to be at least 35 to run.
Well, I take 35 over 62 because they're going to still be thinking of what's going on, what they was raised to do. You understand? They still stuck in them times.
So you're going to kick all the elders out because they're still a part of the elders.
I think that's the problem that we're dealing with now in the police system, because we have all these old folks running it. You know what I mean? So they still stuck in them days that black people is basically we all what they call it, sundown town. You might as well call that the whole damn America, because that's the way they running it. You know what I mean? It's time for them folks that had those beliefs and was raised under the beliefs to get away, to move on, and let us not us youngins, but the youngins that of age and have the qualifications to do it. Well, give them early retirement. Move on. Like they do.
Okay, I'll take that and I'll go sit my ass down.
Right. I was about to say, I definitely see the early retirement thing or term limits. Absolutely.
Definitely a term limit.
That kind of thing, and have people in these like legacy positions, which they're there for like 50 years or 30-something years, blocking out people from
You're cutting out.
I hear you.
People trying to hear that shit. Cut his mic.
Yeah. Those term limits, everything should have a term limit. There's no reason somebody could just get in and just live their life at it, not changing your views, not being able to adapt to anything. You're just stuck in that spot. There's no way you can do it. This staying on the border, anything for 30 and 40 years, you're stagnant.
Well, we got to remember too, these people are people that have kids, that have grandkids, that have great-grandkids. So regardless of the age of the motherfucker, it's still, you know what I'm saying, we're dealing with the problem of inherent racism and like passed down racism and shit like that. We're still gonna be dealing with that. And I think those are the things that really are at the root of all of these injustices that we feel as people of color, and just, you know, that women feel, that all minorities feel in this country. So, you know, the age thing, I get it, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's motherfuckers that still think that same way. And, you know, in every age bracket, you know what I'm saying? There is, you know. So I think, you know, we got to get to that, more to the root of the problem, which is just people getting into these positions that have certain views that really aren't equipped to be in a political office, because you can't. We should make politics the type of thing that you can't exist in this realm, you know what I'm saying, with those antiquated thinkings. You have to be, you know, looking forward, or, you know, in some type of progressive, you know what I'm saying, state of mind, regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We either need to do that or we need to get rid of the whole system. And again, we talk that get rid of the whole system shit every fucking election. But motherfuckers have over 4 years to do it, and don't nobody forward with that shit. So
I don't think they just need to take a break, move on.
how can we make that
Personally,
happen?
I just think that with this upcoming election, it's either you're gonna vote for one or you're gonna vote for the other. You know,
That's just,
it seems like it's kind of fixed in a sense. Like, do you want to vote for this after he done took us through 4 years of XYZ, or do you want to vote for this, which you feel like will be the next best thing? That's how I feel personally.
That's actually what we got.
Everybody's gonna go to the polls and vote for the next best thing. Now, who knows what the outcome will be in November, but that's just me speaking personally.
Or the lesser
Well, the next best thing would be Kanye West.
That's who I'm voting for.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
And why do you see him as being the next best thing?
Oh, I'm just joking. That was just a five.
We already had this conversation.
I'm not.
He did.
I'm not joking though. That's who I'm voting for.
Okay. Well, why do you see him as the next best thing?
Yo, first off, I'm voting black. At the end of the day,
Okay.
yo, I'm not accepting no white president. I'm voting Kanye. And honestly, I don't believe you need to have some type of qualifications to run for president. I believe a leader is a leader, whether you have qualifications or not. And I think
have some sort of
the word
political.
leader.
see, I don't believe that. I don't believe
That's
that. I believe if you a leader, you a leader, no matter what. And at the end of the day, and this is how I look at this is how I look at the presidential chair. It's kind of like almost like kings and queens. Like you got your advisors around you.
Sure.
So when you become a president, you're not making those decisions by yourself. Just like he said, you got Michelle Obama next to you. You got your reps and all that. You got people helping you make these type of decisions that are paid to know these type of things.
The president is the figure.
But this particular president inspired all of them.
So
But
basically,
hold on. You cool with Kim Kardashian being a person to help make decisions?
What's wrong with her? You going based off her reputation?
No, she's a really great advocate. She's done some great work around.
I mean, she getting black people out of jail.
Like that. I understand that.
Kim Kardashian getting black people out of jail.
But of course, that
doesn't mean that she understands how policy is made.
Nobody gonna truly understand until they get in office.
Okay.
It's almost like being a parent. You really don't know what it's like being a parent until you actually have a kid.
Even then, y'all know.
Drops the mic.
No, not really, but
no,
seriously though, you should have some qualifications going into the presidency. They do have a list of things. You know, you gotta be a citizen, you gotta be 35, and I don't know what else remember what else is there, but you should have some experience because what we just saw the last 4 years is what happens when you don't.
Correct.
Yeah, I see different though when it comes to Trump. I see a man going in there and showing us that the president do have a lot more power than all the other presidents led on. I saw a man say that he was going to do some things, and he went in there and did it. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat.
His position.
What
did he do?
By abusing his power.
Within 2 days, he went in there signing bills. Everybody said, "Oh, you need it."
What did they do? The bills that he signed. What were those 2 bills?
One of them was they put to tear down the pandemic thing, right? That's what you're talking about?
No. Say it again.
And that's one of the things that you talk about. He destroyed something that could have prevented something that's going on now. 200,000
in the first 2 weeks
are dead.
Yeah, but I also look at I don't believe the pandemic was what we think it is either.
Oh God.
Really?
And you talking to somebody that's 27 years old? Come on, man. I was in Italy. I was in Italy when Italy was going on like crazy. When they start shutting down the planes, and I didn't get it. I believe the pandemic was a chemical warfare between countries. I don't believe it was the flu.
They never said it was the flu.
I don't. But I don't know. I believe it was something different. I believe it was something going on.
And everything else was fake too. Like they were saying HIV was for AIDS was fucked up, was fake, and was going whatever was going on with that. You know what I
Right.
mean? And see, that's the problem there because a lot of folks that's going on now. He told folks in the beginning not to wear masks, is not all that, and then
Yep.
he can come back and and the recorder gonna hear him say that he knew how bad it was, and then
And
you
he
got
downplayed it.
2,000 people dead because you don't want to put panic. We needed to panic. You understand what I'm saying? They would have made us stay in the house, made us do what we supposed to do. You feel me? So I don't feel that Donald Trump or Kanye West, for that matter,
Right.
has the brain to run the country. Now
Right.
they run some businesses. I didn't
And
say,
run them into the ground.
but
But
run the
if
country
they
with
surround
millions of
themselves,
people. Hold on, he's only worrying about him and a couple of people that he employs. But you're dealing with my life and my child's life. You understand what I'm saying? And I
They
don't
ain't
think
equipped.
that neither one of them are equipped to put my life in their hands.
yeah,
You
both of
understand?
them are geniuses. Both of them are geniuses, and Kanye West can't surround
Business,
himself by
yes,
people.
business,
Kanye West
and
can't.
rapping.
Kanye West can't surround himself by people around people that do know what they're doing.
What, Kim Kardashian and her mama? The
Y'all
biggest
just
crook out there? Now, that's who probably put him up to run was Kim Kardashian's mother. You understand what I'm saying? If you want me to keep it real, get my opinion, you know what I'm
you
saying?
say
'Cause
so.
that's how she works. If her daughter will become first lady. That's how she works. She's looking out for her daughter. She ain't looking out for us. You feel me? That's
Same
how
thing
she
as Donald Trump and his family.
I'm voting black.
for the last 10, 15 years. You know what I mean? The Kardashians. It's to get in the spotlight. So they become the president when they're gonna come out with a new line of clothing called the White House.
So how can you get this vote? I mean, how can you vote for it? What are some of the mechanisms that want to make us get out the vote, period? I mean, like, can felons vote? I mean, I don't care if you Kanye, if you Donald Trump, or Joe Biden. What about just voting? How can we do that?
We want to segue
know
into
what we
our
voting for.
information, like new voters information and all of that. Know your rights. We want
Yes,
to talk about that now. Okay.
yes.
Let's go
Oh,
ahead.
your puss.
So who wants to discuss it?
We want to discuss the puss.
Because this is information that we all need to be talking about. Like we need to know these things.
So let me go through it. So this information came from the Secretary of State's office. It's available for anyone to download and go access. But you can get your polling information. You can register on this site. What else is on there, DeAndre? I can't see what else is on there. It has important election dates. So
Scroll up again.
deadlines, as well as when election day is. Also, how you vote, what you can do to request a ballot, information about the law that allows you to take time off of work to go and vote. There's an actual policy. Your employer has to abide by it. Yeah, but this information is available for folks on menvotes.org. Right at the bottom of the screen, you can see it through the Office of the Secretary of State. You can go to their website, you can register there, you can request your absentee ballot there. You can also find out who's on your ballot. You can get that information now. Do we have a sample ballot?
What you do?
So what you're looking at now is a sample ballot. You would enter in your address information for where you live, and then the computer will generate a sample ballot for your district. And you go through and you will see all the candidates that are going to be on the ballot in November. So if you're confused or don't know nothing about some of the folks that are running in your area, put their names in Google, find out what you need to find out. So you can make an informed decision when you go and vote, either early or on election day. And so you can see it has the president, the Senate offices here in Minnesota. You can scroll down. It has our state or U.S. representatives, our state Senate and state House districts. are also on the ballot. So yeah, if you don't know your district, it'll pop up automatically when you put your information in there. So whatever ballot comes out are the people that you get to vote for. Google, educate yourself.
That's the first step.
And for
Educate
those-
yourself.
And those people who choose to vote absentee and don't want to actually go to the polls due to the pandemic, you can go to this same website. Hold on, let me bring it back up. So you can go to this same website here at the bottom of the page and request an absentee ballot. And the latest that it can be submitted is Monday, November 2nd, from what I read. But it would be recommended for you to request it as early as possible and send it as early as possible.
DeAndre, at this time, I can back you up. First day to vote early in person or any of that is Friday, September 18th. And the last day to vote is Monday, November 2nd. You are correct.
Early. Vote early.
Yeah, I suggest vote early. So again, this website right here at the bottom of the screen, themenvotes.org, you can request your absentee ballot as early as now and submit it as early as possible.
Can I ask a question? Could felon vote?
Yes.
Felons vote.
DeAndre, if you scroll up, you should have felons on there. You should have applied from felons.
As long as
Don't stay on papers.
your sentence, you're off probation, you're off parole, and people ain't following you no more like that, you can vote. You can register and vote here. I know it confuses people, but yeah, you can vote here as long as your sentence is complete. If you're unsure, let's say you're on probation.
There should be a number on there.
For like a misdemeanor or something, then check with your probation officer because you can still vote with the misdemeanor. So questions, call that 877-600-VOTE. They will be able to help answer any questions. And then there are other groups. Y'all are at the voting rights table. Is there a group there that's working on felon voting rights? Anybody?
I believe so, yes.
Do you know there? I don't know who was.
I don't have a name, but yes.
But anyway, call the Secretary of State's office, that 600 vote number, and they'll be able to help answer your questions around that.
This is current information.
You can print these. You can go pick them up from the Secretary of State's office if you like and pass them out in community so people know that they have the right to vote. They have everything they need to go and do it.
Or you could inbox, and if you have any questions, inbox Minnesota Pride, and they would try to direct you the best.
And speaking of voter registration, do we want to plug our upcoming event? Or
Yes, go ahead.
That would be
no, you go ahead. You got
Oh, that's Dennis. No, Dennis has all that.
Dennis.
Hey.
Come on, wine.
Sorry, I was late.
What did you do?
Hey,
Go out
Nick
there.
Love.
Hey, Nikki.
I just got home because you know why.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, Nick.
And we'll just leave it at that, girl.
All right. Welcome to the happy hour.
It's a fucking rap.
Get you a drink, girl. I know you need.
Oh, you talking about, what happened?
That's a hard.
But Dennis was gonna give us some information about an event coming up.
Yes.
Where he go?
What happened to him?
Is it at the church?
Yes.
I don't know the dates.
What is it COVID testing at the church?
Yes.
17th.
Well, Shiloh Temple is having COVID testing today and tomorrow, and it's on my calendar. It's today and tomorrow.
Okay.
And then next week is gonna be, I'll send it. I got all that on my information. It's gonna be somewhere else.
Is it free or do they need health insurance?
It's free.
Okay.
And then the Brian Cole Center is doing it every day from like 1 to 3 or something like that. I'll have to look that up. But yes, at Shiloh Temple today and tomorrow, and I think it's from 12 to 4. I'm almost sure it's 12 to 4.
Okay.
Shiloh Temple.
And the event I believe that you were thinking about, DeAndre, on September 15th. September 17th, excuse me, I apologize, which is a Thursday evening at Kingdom Life Church. We will be
3751 North Sheridan Avenue.
I know what that is.
Yes. PLC Pride will be there at Kingdom Life Church to offer the same information to you to make sure it's available to everyone. We want to make sure everybody knows that you can about the felon rights. We want to make sure everybody knows why to vote, or if they have any questions. That Thursday we'll be there from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will be offering food there, so come out, have a bite to eat. And if you have any questions, feel free to come out and talk to us. That's September 8th.
Are we doing voter registration that evening?
Yes, we will be. We will be doing voter registration and voter pledge. So if you got somebody that's their first time voting, bring them on down so you can be a little more comfortable. Right. And we can get them set up and get them ready for their first time at the voting range. This is a definitely good time to start.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's again Thursday, September 17th, 2000 at Kingdom Life Church. It begins at 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Come get a bite to eat while we talk about a little politics.
And again, the address is 3751 North Sheraton Avenue. It's right on the corner of Sheraton and Dowling.
Thank you. Okay, there's dinner.
Required, right?
What you say again?
Masks are required, right?
Yes, masks are required. And I do believe that they are checking temperatures at the door, but with this being an event that's like after church hours, But yes, masks are required.
And Kingdom Life do have masks that they're selling for a fundraiser. So if you want to buy one of their masks, I think that'd be nice also.
And somebody else is selling masks too. You want to talk about that?
Yes, I do sell masks and you can get them on teespring.com, Bobby Leroy's Closet on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. Not Bobby Leroy's Closet on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok.
Bobby Leroy's Closet.
Bobby Leroy's Closet.
Bobby Leroy.
Bobby Leroy Graham. Yes.
And did you say a percentage was going to Minnesota?
Yes, a percentage of every sale will go to the Minnesota Black PLC Pride. That way we can help. That helps raise funds to do other things amongst the community. So please come out and help and buy a face mask, shirt, or anything else. I'm designing a face mask for PLC, but you get it also at Bobby Leroy's Closet.
Bobby Leroy's Closet
on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Is it can people access those body butters and another natural emollients that you put together, sir? Because that thing
I gave you something in work in progress, but thank you for putting it out there because I am doing a line of men body butters and body scrubs. That's what I'm working on. I had gave them some when they came past my house. So did I like it?
Oh yeah, I love it.
So I do body butters and body scrubs for men.
Still on Bobby Leroy's Closet.
Still
right.
Woo! Leroy's Closet.
All natural shea butter, cocoa butter.
Yes.
Javon, all that.
Is it good for bald head?
Yes.
Is it good for bald head?
Yeah, it will exfoliate the what you're trying to get.
Okay, thank you.
Well, since we're coming down to our final minute, I did want to plug a funding source for the community during this pandemic time. The P Fund, Rapid Release Fund, is actually an ongoing funding source for individuals and small businesses. The way you qualify is if you're in the LGBTQ plus community or if you are a person living with HIV, doesn't matter your orientation. So those two qualifications are what they've illustrated on the website, and it's just pfund.org, and just type in the Rapid Release Fund. And again, it is an ongoing fund. You can request whatever amount that you need, whether it's a small business or for individuals. So I feel like that's vital information for our community, especially for right now.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Welcome information.
Now, question: how long does this grant usually take
It's
To be issued?
To be issued if they
it
run an
depends.
announcement?
It depends. I know one of my clients actually applied for it and he didn't get it for like 2 months, 3 months. But that was like in the maybe about April-ish, like the beginning of COVID.
Okay.
This has been released for months now, but it does take a while for it to be issued.
And processed.
Just don't stop it. Just don't expect it right then and there. It's not an easy fix.
Right.
So also try some of your government organizations to see if we can get any other help, like or whatever else.
Can you come roll up for me?
P-Fund would be a great place to start to get some extra things. And I think Cena had one more place, but I think we'll get back to it on Monday.
Yes. Any other announcements? Well,
trying to find someone to work out. We're about to do a workout joint where we can try to lose these pounds by next year.
Well, that'll be something we're going to connect with on Monday. So we'll have a whole plan put together.
So we can have a new look for our new president.
I think we should. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you for hanging out with the BIPOC happy hour. The pride is in the house. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. Again, say a prayer for 9/11. Everybody, peace out. Thank you.